which week. The main drawbacks of a March vacation, parents voiced concern that it was out of sync with the state, that there was a lack of childcare options. This was actually a very big issue in the comments that were made, and that there were conflicts for students who were involved in sports. Sports went on in March because the rest of the state is continuing on with school in March, and then they took a break in April when the rest of the state takes a break. For teachers, the major concerns were the level of illness, that February vacation traditionally plays a role in suppressing, that students were ready for a break in February, and that the flow of education was disrupted. Now on the benefits side, 151 parents out of the almost 600 said that travel was cheaper or better, so that was a benefit. 23 teachers out of the 200 and some said there was less burnout, 12 said there was a better flow to education. But 365 parents and 177 teachers said there was no benefit. And the key question that was really raised about the process was, is the school committee listening? So just to give you all a little bit of a taste of what people said in the comments, because that's always a very important part to me of the surveys, is what exactly are people saying in the comments. I would say that, by the way, in the teacher survey, out of about 200 comments from the 600 or so people that left a response, about 16 of them were positive on March, and the rest were split between April, a lot, February, and a lot of why is the school committee not listening, is basically a lot of the sentiment. One teacher, and by the way, a lot of people, we asked, can we make your comment public? If so, can we attach your name, or would you prefer to be anonymous? And a lot of people, for whatever reason, said, make my comment public, but keep me anonymous. So that's most of the people that I'm quoting here. One teacher says, I think that students are more productive when they have a February and April vacation. It follows the logic that has been proven by research that students need more recess, not less. They are more likely to learn and be engaged when they have recess. Also, when we take away February vacation, we are making the summer longer. And research shows that the summer does not need to be any longer. It is long enough. What children really need is to be actively engaged in learning. By providing consistent, regularly scheduled breaks, it is much more likely that students will be engaged and ready for learning. I have not seen any research that says a March vacation profoundly or even slightly impacts education. A parent says, I feel the school committee is out of touch with the needs and wants of families. I also feel the school committee is ignoring research showing students benefit from a longer school year with more breaks rather than a longer summer vacations. Just to give you a sense of the question of March and people responding to the March vacation in particular, here are 4 comments in a row. Loved the March vacation, which wish other districts would follow. Loved it. March is horrible. March vacation was terrible, and now our kids have 2 days off in the next 11 weeks. There's no doubt in my mind that my high schooler is going to go through extreme burnout right before finals, the worst time to experience it. Please go back to April vacation. So those were some of the comments that were left. There was quite a bit, I'll try to wrap it up here because I know you don't want me going forever, but quite a bit of concern over the question of activities for children in the district. One parent says, I had a hard time answering the question about which vacation to take, only because the timing of the vacation doesn't really matter, as long as there are camps and other opportunities running at the same time. So it matters that there are opportunities, but the specific week and month are not necessarily important. If we are to have one break before March to April, January to April is way too long for kids not to have a break from academics. Another parent says there was nothing for the kids to do. The only programs available were at the Warren Library, but only accepted a limited number of kids. I'd like to interject, by the way, the COSY program also accepted students. My child, I took 47 high school kids to Canada that week, which is why I was not here for that meeting. And my wife still had to work, so my daughter was in the COSY program, and it was excellent. But again, only for a limited number of students. We have a lot more students in the district than could actually apply for and take advantage of the COSY program. I'll skip the rest of this comment. I think you get the general idea. And just to say that responsiveness was a question. One teacher says, it seems that the school committee should do a better job of listening to the teachers. Of course, this comment applies to more than just vacations. Teachers are in the classrooms and therefore, along with their students, experience the effects of the school committee decisions more immediately and directly than anyone, especially those sitting on the school committee. One parent says, my concern with the change was simply that the administration could not articulate why a change was being considered. And one parent, Kathleen Bell Harney, says, please find a way to convince the school district to bring back both February and April vacation. I'm not sure I can do that last part, but I would just like to highlight the point that I do not feel, personally, that last year in all the discussion we had, there was any compelling case made, really anyway. There was no compelling reason given for why we were moving to a March vacation. I still don't see one being given. I've asked and I've not received any. I think that going to a February and April schedule, a compelling reason I see is that a majority of educators and a plurality of parents are in favor of it. I can tell you from my own personal experience, it does allow students to reset and focus for those times in between. It actually divides up the school year. Divided up almost perfectly to fifths, by the way. I don't know if anybody ever looked at that. I looked at that once. And it really is a very good division as far as that goes. And so I think that that is a worthwhile reason to consider when you think about the calendar. Now, I know the motion in front of you is simply for a March vacation, but I would still like to hear some compelling reason why that makes sense and why February vacation is off the table, apparently. And also, I do know, and I'd like to thank you for putting out a survey to parents from the district about the vacation schedule. I would like to hear some of the results of that as well. So that's my comment.
There, in case you're not aware of this, Brian, there's a folder on the desk or the table over there where Karen is that has those results in it if you'd like to see them. Okay, the folder has the summary. It does not have any of the comments that were written. It just has the percentages and the summary of the results of those questions. Okay, and it's there. There are a number of copies in it, and anyone is welcome to grab it if they'd like to. You feel free to do so. There. So, and thank you for your input and whatnot. Do I have any comments from anyone?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Really, if I start back from last year, we had a pretty lengthy discussion about the reasons on either side of where the school vacation would fall. And when we tabled the motion last week, there was a desire expressed by those who voted in favor of tabling to be able to hear from parents and to get additional information and data about what was happening with respect to the move to March. We were in the middle of the March vacation at that point, and we felt like it was, I think, at least I felt like it was an inappropriate time for us to be considering whether to continue with having a March vacation or to move back to April. And I know that in the survey that was sent out by the district, that many of you out there are maybe taking a look at right now, there were a number of questions asked, and there were a lot of comments that you're not able to see that were submitted. Many of those comments echoed some of the reasons that Mr. Chittister just relayed concerning the feelings that folks had about the respective vacations and expressing a preference, particularly for a vacation schedule that is in sync with the other districts in the state of Rhode Island. Additionally, we received information that there are no other districts in the state that are planning to move to a March vacation for next year. And in terms of the number of respondents from the community, although there was, I don't think, a clear majority of respondents that favored April over March, it was definitely a greater number, a clear plurality that favored the April vacation over March. And although I would be very interested in hearing from anybody who thinks otherwise and has reasons for wanting to move forward with continuing the March vacation, I do think that there are some things that when it comes to providing the service that a school district provides to its community and the families that attend it, that it's important that we not only consider what the impact is on what happens in the buildings, but that we also consider the impact that it has on the children and families when they're not here, when we make decisions. And from what I have seen, to the extent that there are any particular benefits from having a March vacation over an April vacation, I don't think that they outweigh the difficulties that a great number of people have expressed result from having that out-of-sync vacation schedule. So I'm not in favor of the motion as it currently stands. There is, at least as was presented to us and as was presented to the community in the survey that was sent out by the school, an alternate calendar that has been created that has an April vacation. It doesn't have a full week of vacation in February, but it has a holiday combined with a professional development day that provides for a long weekend in February. I also understand that to be consistent with the majority of school districts in the state, and I would encourage the committee to reject the motion on the table, and then perhaps we would have a different motion that can be made that would be entertained afterwards, if that is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly have received quite a bit of email on this topic. Thank you, everyone, for participating. It is part of the democratic process. I've also had seen the surveys. I have to say, though, that coming from a statistical background in my former life, where my job was to build surveys, that would seem to be a little bit slanted to lead, as we used to say, to the ace of spades. And so I took it as genuine as it could be. And I also did my own research. In my neighborhood where I work, there are a lot of young parents, and I asked them. I also asked the students what they think, and of course they all want every day off, but we know that's not going to happen. So given all of that, I want to go back to, I had to step back and think, and I have to honestly say, coming into this meeting, I had not made up my mind, and I'm not sure that I have totally made up my mind, but I did, thinking back to why it's the March vacation, and I think I was one of the first people that brought up the March vacation idea. The first time we actually eliminated, we wanted to get to one vacation week, and we decided to go with the April one the first year, and that was a very long time from January to April, and because March can be, as we've all just experienced, a really bad month, and so I proposed, or I was one of those that proposed moving it to the middle, and in fact the week that's on this calendar this proposed calendar is smack dab in the middle between January, end of the Christmas break, or the holiday break, and the end of the school year. It's actually, it's 11 weeks one way and 11 weeks the other way. And the weather is nicer going towards the June side of that break. And so the feedback I got from the people that I spoke with did not feel any hardship from having the March break. The students were nice, good about it. I think that there obviously should be some coordination with the rec board, with the libraries, with the Quinta Ganlett, well that's the rec board, but I was thinking of the Audubon Society and the other museums in town. I think we could be better at coordinating with them, or at least alerting them that it's happening, so they can make some programs going. But I'm leaning toward sticking to this and approving the emotion as is.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to echo some of what Mr. Ramos said. It's clear from the survey that the
district put out, as well as the survey that was administered by the Educational Association, that being in sync with the rest of Rhode Island is very important. Both the teachers, I believe the teachers were at 95% to being in sync with the rest of Rhode Island. Parents were at 40. According to the district survey, it was approximately 52% that indicated that it's important to them to be in sync with the other districts. I also, like Mr. Ramos said, it does appear that the state is moving away from a week-long February break. Over 50% of the districts do not have a February break. So, listening to the feedback, I did receive some feedback that was in support of a March vacation, but I've also received feedback that wants us to switch back to April. And so I think the April feedback that I've received and what I see from the surveys is significantly more in number than the feedback that I received saying March is okay. So for that reason, I'm going to vote against this calendar with March. And like Mr. Ramos said, if we could entertain a motion for an April vacation, I would be in favor of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, John.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Between the mandates from the federal and state level as to education, and with all the changes that take place in education from year to year, our teachers and students need a break, both in February and April. When we eliminated February, I was told that a large number of districts were going to be doing the same thing, and I found later that next to none did. It is common that teachers marry teachers. I think the ladies will attest to that. But generally, these teachers are not from the same district. So by their not having synchronization with other districts, at least in our state, we only have control of our state. What's happened is it's performing hardships on these folks. And these folks, that we have hundreds of employees that we're talking about dealing with here, that we are affected. And we should take care of our employees as best we can. And I really believe that we still should have the February and April vacations. Thank you.
I feel much the same as I did last year around this time. We can't seem to identify the benefits of switching the break from April to March, so that even if it were an unpopular decision, we could say, but these are the obvious academic benefits. B, I personally have received, I was trying to count, about a dozen correspondences. I haven't received any in favor of March. I'm a mom of 3 in the district, and I can certainly, I understand and I share the frustration of many when it comes to not having the same camps and programs available during that week. I also just think if the rest of the state is not moving in this direction, I'm not sure what the point is with all of those other things that I just listed as well. So I don't know why we're reinventing the wheel unless we would have some reason to be doing so. So I would be maybe making a motion to make an amendment. But we'll see if there's more discussion before that. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
My public comment? Very well. I did not register. I was not expecting to make a comment.
Can you fill that out first? And honestly,
Before?
well, you know I don't have any issue with trying to get it all done before these comments were made.
And I tried to follow the rules on that, however, my comment's a little strange, so we just, well, so I was very happy that you guys came up with this. It's really great that you did. However,
Linda, if you're going to talk over there, use the microphone, please.
Slow it down.
thank you.
Make sure it's in front of you.
I'm Linda Burgess, I have a granddaughter at the high school. So I do appreciate your efforts to do this survey and to present us with the paperwork. However, unless my eyes be strange, there's two colors, gray and black. There's, on page 2, really hard to tell what those blacks mean. We have numbers, but they're all the same color.
Different shades of black.
Please?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all black.
Right, the survey had colors actually.
And I know that color printing's very expensive, and I appreciate you're not wasting your time doing that. However, please indicate what school calendar option you prefer, 41%. How do we know that that's different from 12? What does the 41 represent? Yes? No? They're all black and one gray.
You're talking about the last question?
Last
Which
question?
The
school
last
option?
question is, how, on the second one here,
Yeah.
number 2, it says 41% for something, and then 12% for something. How do we tell which is which? They're all black.
Mr. Chair, I have it right here.
Because we don't know if 41% of the people want April vacation, or 12% of the people want April vacation.
You're talking about page 2, the second one on page 2. There are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors on the thing you're talking about, correct?
Thank you. Now that I see it in color, it's really more helpful than black and gray. Thank you. So the 41% prefers April break.
Yes.
That's what we're just trying to find out in the audience. We know what you're talking about. We're trying to just follow the colors here to see what it was. Thank you.
All right,
Now I'll let you.
thank you. Sorry. Mr. Gattaz. I apologize for letting Mr. Regis go before you, but you need before these. Now it's your turn.
First, I'd like to thank everybody that's actually here. This has been quite an interesting topic, especially the last one. So, I mean, I've done some of my own research, and the basic things that I'm getting is our teachers that are parents and live outside the district are affected more. Other school district teachers that are parents and live in our district are affected. A lot of teachers support teachers. Seen a lot of that. Students, especially now that we're starting to see better weather in April, are looking at the fact that it's nicer to take vacation in April rather than March. On the flip side, though, I thought this was interesting considering what other people have said so far, but I would tell you that well over a dozen parents that I've talked to actually like the March vacation, and there's a lot of reasons for it. Some of it vacation focus, cheaper to do things, shorter lines, that kind of thing. Students, especially athletes, actually